Welcome back. All right, if you're looking for any of the matinee games, I've already reviewed the matinee games. Those videos are already on the channel. 9 games tonight to take a look at, and then I have to do tomorrow's preview and then the power rankings. So, yeah, I mean, it's not too late for a Saturday night. I've had much later Saturday nights than this. We're going to start off with Montreal and Buffalo. So, Buffalo, there's some fight in this one. We'll go through it. Primo versus Levi in this matchup. They both went to the same college, so it's kind of fun that way. I believe it was Northeastern. Anyways, Caulfield has a chance kicked out. There's a near miss for Slafkovsky. The shots are 3-1 Montreal, 3.5 minutes in. Levi holds one as the Habs press. Krebs has a chance that deflects out. The shots are 9-5 for the Sabres, 9.5 minutes in. The Habs with a lot of turnovers. Primo's basically bailing him out at that point. We get a power play for the Sabres. Okposo's denied and close. That's killed off. Teams exchange turnovers. The Sabres, they have a press, draws them a power play. Olofsson misses one high. It's cleared out. We get 35 seconds of 5-on-3. Montreal kills that off. It's scoreless after one. Second period. Power play for the Habs. That's killed off as well. The Habs press 6.5 minutes in. Sabres with a 3-on-2. That's broken up. The Habs rush. Get some pressure out of that. Skinner to Middlestad gets blocked at the net. Things get punchy with 9 minutes left. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 after, and then a 3-minute Habs power play after because there was a 5-minute penalty, 5 in a game, given to Robinson. So during the 4-on-4 at 12:59, Struble scores from Kovacevic. It's his first NHL goal. He scores in close. And then on the power play, it's Suzuki on a rush at 13:13. And when that one went in, if you close your eyes, you would have thought you were in Montreal. So this is the same as what we see when Montreal plays in any Canadian city. A lot of Montreal fans just travel with them on the road. And Buffalo is right across the border. Makes a lot of sense. So the Sabres then finish the kill. 2:47 left. The Sabres get a power play. That's killed off. So yeah, we're going to the third period. Skinner would score from Thompson at 1:06 on a one-timer from the slot to make it a one-goal game. And Skinner's had a very good time scoring against Montreal. Sabres press at 2.5 minutes. Eventually, they do tie it, and it's point number 600 for Okposo. Clifton with the assist at 6:36. So on a turnover, he buries a rebound, ties the game. Habs call a timeout. Whatever they discussed seemed to work. Shots are 6-4 Buffalo at 9 minutes. Olofsson has a net drive. That's blocked. Caulfield gets robbed on a 2-on-1. Habs press with 8.5 minutes left. Skinner has a shot that's held. 6:02 left. The Habs with a power play. We had a fight between Slafkovsky and Clifton during that. Power play ends up being killed off with 1:06 left. The Sabres with a power play. So we go to overtime. The Sabres cycle. Evans clears. It's killed off. So we play it at 4-on-4 from there. There's a mask save on Suzuki. Thompson has a one-timer that goes wide. But we end up going to a shootout. And in the shootout, it takes till round 4. And Slafkovsky gets what would be the game-winning goal. Makes it a 3-2 win in the shootout for the Montreal Canadiens. They go to 12-12-3 with the win. Buffalo 11-14-3 with the shootout loss. Shots on net 17-7 Buffalo in the first, 15-12 Montreal in the second, 16-8 I should say for Buffalo in the third, and then 3-1 Buffalo in the overtime. They outshoot the Montreal Canadiens 48-31 power plays. Montreal 1 for 4, Buffalo 0 for 5. The hits 17-10 Buffalo. Primo 46 saves on 48 shots. Levi saved 29 out of 31. So friendly rivalry between the goalies, and tonight the shootout victory for Montreal. So Primo gets the win in that one. All right, next up, Ottawa and Detroit. This game was intense. If you're a Detroit fan right now, you're probably mashing your keyboard about Matthew Joseph. Maybe you've already left a comment. We'll get to it. So it's Korpisalo versus Lyon. This game was delayed a little bit. They had Vernon's Hall of Fame video to show and had him drop the ceremonial puck. It would then get delayed for something else later on in the period. So early power play for the Sens. There's a post for Tarasenko. It's cleared, but at 1:56, Giroux gets the power play goal. Chychrun and Tarasenko with the assists. The Sens then press for another. The shots are 4-0 Ottawa, 3.5 minutes in. We have a power play for the Wings. Kane's denied, but we had 39 seconds of 5-on-3. Sens do kill that off and then clear the puck. Wings press at 9 minutes. Kane's denied. The rebound's cleared. The Wings go back to the power play. And Larkin. So this is where we end up with Larkin. He's down and he's out. He was out on the ice and it looked bad. So he skates off. He does get up and skate off. The stretcher was there. They had the stretcher out there right away. And as bad as it looked, I'm glad he skated off. I haven't seen the update. We'll probably get the update tomorrow. And it was a cross-check by Joseph that looked like it had done it. Now, of course, if you are a fan of the Wings, you know the name Matthew Joseph from his time in Tampa Bay. And I immediately Googled it, like, it was Joseph on Larkin. Yep, it was. So there's that history. But what's interesting is Perron, seeing Larkin down, thinking it was Zub, he cross-checked Zub in the face. So they're reviewing it. And I thought, so are they reviewing it for the Joseph cross-check? No, they were reviewing it for the Perron cross-check, probably for the entire play, to be honest. So what happened is that both Joseph and Kelly hit Larkin from opposite sides. It's ugly. He gets hurt. I didn't see intent. It was just poor timing there. Perron gets intent to injure on Zub. So he gets thrown out of the game, and this brings upon the ref you suck chance. Now, they stay on the power play, do those Wings, and they score during a 4-on-3. It's Patrick Kane with his first as a Wing from DeBrincat and Lyon at 14:49. But remember, it's a major on Perron, so that had to be killed off, and Detroit does kill it. So we're at 1-1 after the first period. Second period, there's power play for Ottawa. Every time Joseph touches the puck, he gets booed. I would think that's now a thing for the rest of his career. At 3:35, a power play goal scored by Ottawa, Tarasenko from Chychrun and Giroux. It'd be awkward if he ends up with Detroit, wouldn't it? Because you're like, we want to boo him, but he's a Wing now. Anyways, so that makes it 2-1 for the Ottawa Senators, and then the Sens look for another. The shots are 6-3 in their favor, 5.5 minutes in. Sens go back to the power play. Giroux's denied. It's cleared out. It's killed off. And then Kubalik makes it 3-1. Former Red Wing, of course, from Joseph at 8:36. So, yeah. Power play for Detroit, that's killed off. The Wings press with 3.5 minutes left, but Ottawa would score again. Stützle in alone, and he buries it. Batherson and Zub with the assist at 18:54. So Zub stayed in the game. That's important. Wings look to respond, but after 2 periods, it's 4-1 Ottawa. Third period, Joseph had a fight with Fisher, so that takes some of the steam out of all of the getting revenge stuff. So, Joseph willing to drop the gloves. Wings press, the Sens block, and it was a pretty chippy game in that third period. There was a lot of stuff after the whistle that wasn't being called. Wings press at 6.5 minutes. DeBrincat's denied. There's more pressure. Wallman's denied on a fast break. Shots are 9-8 for the Senators with 9 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left, and eventually, from behind the goal line, Jake Sanderson scores at 16:35 to make it 5-1. With 38 seconds left, the Sens get a power play, so that just runs out the clock. Your final score is 5-1. Ottawa evens the record at 11-11. Detroit drops to 14-8-4. Another disappointing result at home for Detroit. Shots on net, 15-11 Detroit in the first, 14-7 Ottawa in the second, 12-9 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 37-31 for the Sens. Power plays, Ottawa 2 for 6, Detroit 1 for 5. The hits, 14-11 Detroit. Korpisalo, 30 saves on 31 shots. He was fired up too. Lyon, 21 saves on 25 shots before being replaced by Reimer in the third period, who saved all 11 shots that he faced in the third. And then, of course, that 12th shot being the empty netter. So there you go. Interesting game. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion about this after. But, yeah, and then we'll see if Department of Player Safety has anything to say coming out of this as well. All right, next up. Nashville in against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So now we get to the shutout portion of the board. I always find this funny when it's back-to-back, and it's very similar. We almost had 2 games go to overtime with the same score in the late games, too. So it's Lankinen versus Samsonov. The Leafs press at 1.5 minutes. I've seen a lot of negative comments about Samsonov with Wall being hurt. People forget, Samsonov's pretty good every other game. It's just the way it works. So Sherwood has a rush that's defended. The Leafs press at 5 minutes. The shots are 4-0 Toronto at 6 minutes, which I thought was good for Samsonov as well. He's not facing shots. He's, the shots are all at the other end. He can get comfortable. Get a power play for Nashville. Sissons is robbed in close. There's a shorthanded rush by Kampf, which helps to kill that off. Fans call one. The referee doesn't. Forsberg has a turnover chance. That's blocked. Pressed by the Predators, closes out the period, but it's scoreless after 1. Second period, Leafs draw a power play. Preds block, they clear. They do kill that off. There's a press by Nashville at 5.5 minutes. The shots are 2 apiece, 7 minutes into the period. Nylander has a rush chance, that's defended. We get a power play for Toronto. Tavares can't bury one, it's cleared out. Bertuzzi's denied and close. The Preds do kill it off, but 4 shots. So it's really more realistic to say Lankinen killed it off than the Preds did. Gregor has a net drive that's held. Blocker save then on Yarncroke before on a net drive. Camp scores the opening goal from Timmins at 14:15. The Leafs press for another, and eventually they get it at 17:57. Matthews tips one in. Nylander and Riley with the assist, so suddenly it's 2-0 for Toronto. 1:55 left. Nashville gets a power play that runs to the end of the period, and Toronto's able to hold them off the board, so it's 2-0 after 2. Third period. Tavares couldn't bury one in close. Lots of early whistles in that period. Shots are 2 apiece 4 minutes in. We get a power play for Toronto. Nashville does kill that off. There's 3 shots on that power play. Shots are 7-2 for the Leafs at 9 minutes. So, yeah, Nashville wasn't really generating much in that third period. Forsberg to Nyquist, there's a near miss there. Power play for Toronto. Riley's denied. The rebound's cleared. And eventually, Matthews gets the power play marker. Nylander and Tavares with the assist at 16:49. He buries that short side and really takes Nashville out of it. 2:32 left. The Preds with a power play, and they pull the goalie too to make it a 6-on-4, which means it's a shorthanded empty net goal by Gregor. Yarncroke with the assist at 18:29 to make your final score 4-0 for Toronto. The Leafs go to 14-6-4 on the year. Nashville 14-13 with the loss. Shots on net 9-7 Toronto in the first, 13-6 Toronto in the second. 15-5 Toronto in the third. Final shots 37-18 for the Leafs. Power plays 0 for 3 for Nashville, 1 for 5 for Toronto. Hits 32-26 Nashville. Lankinen saves 33 out of 36. Samsonov saved all 18 shots that he saw in the net tonight, so shutout. And thus the magnet at the top of the board, being Tony the Tiger, because he was great. All right, next up, the Rangers in against Washington. So the Rangers, this is their first kind of a dip this year when it comes to their results. And Washington, I don't know where this game came from, but hey, maybe it's because they saw the Rangers on the other side of the ice. One thing that stands out here is, again, no need for goals and points from Ovechkin tonight. Capitals do all right. So it's Shesterkin versus Lindgren. Keep in mind that Lindgren's brother Ryan is on the Rangers, so it's brother versus brother. And I think they said it was the first time that's happened, which surprises me a little bit. Charlie Lindgren hasn't been at the NHL level much in his career thus far. So I'm not entirely surprised, but maybe a little bit. Anyways, early edge for the Caps, and they score on their second shot. It is Milano from Faravari and Carlson at 43 seconds. So that's the way you start the game. Rangers look to answer. Oshie has a rush chance that's saved. Wilson's denied and close. Things get pushy on a hole by Charlie Lindgren. Rangers press at 9.5 minutes. Strome then has a blast that's kicked aside. The Rangers press again, this time with 6 minutes left. Capitals get some pressure of their own with 3 minutes left. Brodzinski can't bury one. It's cleared out by Washington there. With 16 seconds left, the Caps with a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. The Rangers technically finish the kill 1 second after the kill's done. Washington scores. It's Mantha from Kuznetsov and Sandin at 1:43. He tips that one in right after the power play's done. Rangers press at 3.5 minutes. Lindgren holds on to a Lindgren shot. I wonder if there was any, friendly brother wagering that went on before the game of, hey, if I score a goal on you, like that kind of thing. But anyways, Wilson would score at 5:35 to make it 3-0 for Washington. So this is getting out of hand for the New York Rangers. Rangers press to respond. The shots are 6-5 for the Rangers at 7.5 minutes. Trocheck has a screenshot that's held, and then on a turnover, Obey Kubel wires one at 11:52. Malenstein with the assist there, so it's 4-0 Washington. Get a power play for the Rangers. That's killed off. It was the only power play they had today. So it's 4-0 Rangers after 2. Third period, the Rangers press at 2 minutes. Lafreniere has a net feed. That's blocked. We get a power play for the Caps. Laviolette disagreed vehemently with that. Felt there was another call that should have been made on the play. That was killed off, though. So there's a post for Trocheck then on a 2-on-1. Shots are 4-0 Washington at 9 minutes. So Laviolette's frustration may have been with his own team as well. Caps press at the half. We get a power play for Washington. There was a shorthanded chance for Kreider. That was saved. Power play's killed off. Then the Rangers press. They press again with 4.5 minutes left, but no matter what they tried to do, they couldn't get any closer. Washington wins 4-0. So another Tony the Tiger magnet. A 13-8-3 record now for Washington with the 4-0 victory. The Rangers 18-6-1 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-8 Washington in the first, 15-7 Rangers in the second, 10-8 Washington in the third. Final shots are 31-29 for the Rangers. Power plays, the Rangers 0 for 1, Washington 0 for 3. The hits 18-17 Rangers. Shesterkin saves 25 out of 29. Lindgren saved all 31 shots for the shutout. Again, Lindgren having a pretty good year. All right, last one on this board. LA and the Islanders. LA came into this with an 11-game winning streak on the road, of course, an all-time record for a team to start a season. But they were one win short of an all-time NHL record at any point during a season, and they will stay one win short of that all-time record. So it's Talbot versus Sorokin, and of course it's the Cylon road trip, wearing those beautiful silver helmets. And honestly, the silver helmets do look kind of dorky. But again, I really like the jerseys. I like the outfit. Just, yeah, the helmets are kind of cheesy, but it's fine. It's fine. So early Clutterbuck shots held. We get a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. Islanders, really strong forechecking. The Islanders then out of 3-on-2. That misfires. The shots are 3 apiece, 6.5 minutes into the period. Clutterbuck has a wraparound. That's held. The Kings press at 8.5 minutes. Kempe to Byfield. There's a near miss there. Ozone penalty by the Kings leads to an Islanders power play. Can't be doing that. So then it becomes a 4-on-4 Kings power play after that. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Clutterbuck with a near miss there. He was all around the net early in the game. It's all killed off. Then the Islanders get a rush chance. Kings press with 5 minutes left with 3:09 left. The Islanders with a power play. That's killed off. The Kings clear after. It's scoreless after one. Second period. No shots in the first 4 minutes. A very Islanders-like scoreline. Englund had a fight with Mayfield. Kings come out of that with a power play, and they score on it. It's Kempe from Fiala and Doughty at 5:40, and it was a cross-ice pass and a one-timer, so no chance for Sorokin there. Kings go back to the power play. It becomes 1 minute and 13 seconds of 4-on-4. The Kings score, goalie interference challenge, but the contact's outside the crease, and therefore the goal counts. Gavrikov from Fiala and Danault at 9:08. So good call, and that means the Kings go to the power play because of an unsuccessful challenge. Things get pushed in a hole by Sorokin. Power play's killed off. The Kings get some pressure after, but hey, they're up 2-0. They got all the momentum in the world. So the shots are 11-3 for LA with 7.5 minutes left. Roy has a shot that's caught and held. Isles press in the final minute. There was a crossbar for them, and then the Kings cleared out. So they were that close to getting on the board, but it's 2-0 LA after 2. Now, LA had the comeback win against Columbus, so they can't blow it on the road knowing that, well, maybe. Anyways, third period, Kings press at 3 minutes. We get a power play for the Islanders. Horvat fires one wide. It's cleared out. And that power play was killed off. And then Gavrikov gets hurt. It was a knee-on-knee, and there was no call on the play. So it's not a reviewable play. There was no call. I'm not saying there should have been or shouldn't have been. Just knee-on-knee is really potentially quite damaging. So understandable when a coach is upset that that's not viewed or called. So the shots are 10-5 for the Kings at 8.5 minutes, and it's right about then that the Islanders start to really pick things up. At 8:42, they score. It's Anders Lee from Riley and Barzal. He buries a rebound in close, and then at 15:49, they would tie the game. It's Lee again, his second goal in a row. Mayfield and Horvat with the assists on that one, and it was another rebound goal. So Talbot not controlling those rebounds and being made to pay by the Islanders. Kings press to respond. There's a post for Palmieri. The Islanders press, but we're going to overtime. In the overtime, it lasts 13 seconds, and in alone, Pajot buries it. He scores from Holmstrom and Dobson. Goes 5-hole in that one. Maybe this will get Pajot going. Goal-scoring-wise, it's been a slow year for him. So the Islanders get the comeback victory 3-2. They go to 12-7-7 because of the 7 overtime and shootout loss points. They were second in the division at the time, but they've won 12 out of 26, so it depends on how you view it. The Kings 16-4-4 with the overtime loss. Shots on net 11-9 for New York in the first, 15-6 for LA in the second. Both teams had 12 shots in the third. In the overtime, the Islanders just needed the one shot to win it. Final shots 36-30 for LA. Power plays the Kings 1 for 5. New York 0 for 4. Hits 25-20 for New York. Talbot saved 27 out of 30. Sorokin saved 34 out of 36. Really good start for him, and now I need to change boards. All right, so the Blues. The Blues started this week with a victory over Vegas, and since then, the week's kind of gone downhill for them. So power rankings coming up tonight. Rough week for the Blues. So it's Binnington versus Mrazek. Early jump for Chicago. They get some pressure. Neighbors draws a power play, though. The Hawks don't let them set up. Shorthanded rush then by Entwistle makes it 37 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off out of that. And then at 4:43, Zaitsev opens the scoring for Chicago from Beauvillier and Gutman. The shots are 5-2 Chicago at 6.5 minutes. The Hawks press are kept to the outside, but then through a screen from the point, Vlasic scores from Crevier and Entwistle at 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And Crevier and Vlasic, they're like Ents back there on the blue line. That's a Lord of the Rings reference. It's either, if I have to explain it, it's not funny. It's probably not funny anyways. So it's 2-0 Chicago at that point. Radish to Murphy, a near miss. Things get pushy, punchy on a hold by Binnington. And the Blues press in the final minute. But yeah, it's 2-0 for Chicago after one. Kind of a shocker, to be honest, because St. Louis really needs this game. Second period, Falk misses one wide. The Hawks clear. The shots are 4-0 St. Louis, 4.5 minutes in. Kyrou has a slot shot, that's held. The Blues press at the half. They have momentum. They just needed a goal. Mrazek wasn't doing it. McGing has a chance, that's held. He's apparently from Chicago and looking for his first career goal. Parayko has a shot deflect out. The Hawks press and they score. It was a great pass by Zaitsev, and it's buried by Dickinson. Murphy with the other assist at 14:53. Suddenly it's 3-0 Chicago. 3:06 left. The Blues with a power play. That's killed off. It remains 3-0 after two. Third period. Power play for the Blues, that's killed off. The shots are 3-0 for St. Louis at 4 minutes. So they're very good at getting the shots and dictating the play. Just Mrazek was saying no. Toropchenko has a shot kicked aside. We get a power play for Chicago. Kurashev with the near miss. They cycled. That's killed off. The Blues were upset with a missed high stick that was going on as well in the third period. Hayes is denied from the side of the net. Early goalie pull because you're down by 3, so why not? Buchnevich fires one wide from the slot. We end up with a power play for the Hawks, but you got to pull the goalie. You got to try to do something. And they end up with a shorthanded goal on a fast break. It's Sundqvist from Leddy at 16:31. So they did pull the goalie. They did try, but in the end, Chicago holds on. They win this one 3-1. They go to 9-16-1 with the win. St. Louis 13-13-1 with the loss. As I've said, very unpredictable team. Shots on net, 14-9 Chicago in the first, 14-8 St. Louis in the second, 16-2 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 39-24 for St. Louis. Power plays, both teams 0 for 3. The hits, 15 apiece. Binnington saved 21 out of 24, and Mrazek 38 saves on 39 shots. He's just been pretty good. Like, honestly, I think Mrazek's had a good year, but yeah, St. Louis has to be some concern right now for the Blues because you know the Oilers have to bump somebody out of the playoffs. All right, next up, Flyers and the Avs. How about those Flyers? Like this has been a very impressive road trip thus far. Hart versus Prosvetov. Nice to see Prosvetov get the net for a change. Farabee's denied on a 2-on-1 rush. Wood has a wraparound chance that save. The shots are 5-4 for the Avs, 4.5 minutes in. So lots of early shots in this one. Konechny fires one wide from the slot. Flyers press at 5 minutes. Manson to McKinnon gets picked off. Avs were a post away from the lead. They do end up getting a power play. There was a post for Rantanen. That power play's killed off. And then at 17:41, late in the first period, Konechny scores from Couturier and Forster. 1-0 lead for Philly. But it's Colorado, so they do tie it. It's an end-to-end rush by McKinnon, who I guess decided I'll just do this myself, and he did. 18:59, Manson and Taves with the assists on that one, but great goal by McKinnon, and that makes it a 1-1 tie after one. Second period, early press by the Avs. The shots are 2 apiece, 3.5 minutes in. Taves fires one wide. The rebound's cleared. The Flyers are breaking up Avs rushes, and eventually Tippett scores from Brink at 9:01. So a bit of a shocker there. It's suddenly 2-1 Philly. Flyers then look for another. Delorier hits the outside of the net. The Avs press with 9.5 minutes left, but the Flyers would get another goal. Sanheim. He scores from Frost and Tippett at 11:17, so suddenly it's 3-1 Philly. It doesn't stay that way. A little over a minute later, off of a face-off win, Manson buries one through a screen. Johansson with the assist is having won that face-off at 12:28, so that tightens the score up at 3-2. We get a power play for the Flyers. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Nichushkin. Hart ends up making a brilliant save there. That power play's killed off. Cogliano's denied on a 3-on-1 as Carter Hart had maybe his best game of the season so far. 2:47 left. The Avs with a power play. That's killed off. It's 3-2 for Philly going into the third period. Tippett to Brink gets blocked. The Flyers press. The Avs had the only shot on net 3.5 minutes in, which means 3.5 minutes in. They only have one shot, so that's some pretty good defending by Philadelphia thus far. There's a press by the Avs at 4 minutes. O'Connor has a deflection that's held. Nichushkin's denied on a net drive. The shots are now 4-1 for Colorado at 6 minutes. So this is where you can see that momentum picking up. McKinnon to Nichushkin. There's a near miss there. Atkinson's then denied on a break. And then on that rebound, Farabee gets denied as well. Prosvetov just ridiculous saves there. Avs press at 8.5 minutes. The Flyers block. They clear. And then Konechny's awarded a penalty shot, and he scores on it. And that's at 9:31. And then on the next shift, Philly extends their lead. At 10:17, it's Farabee. Great pass by Brink, and it's buried. Brink and Sanheim with the assists, so that makes it 5-2 for the Philadelphia Flyers. Konechny to Sanheim gets picked off, but yeah, Colorado just could not generate what they needed to. This is back-to-back losses at home. And so a little bit of a concern for Colorado, but we've been here before this season with Colorado. So the 5-2 win for the Flyers. They go to 15-10-2. I think the Flyers are a good team. Colorado 16-9-2 on the season. Shots on net 13-12 Colorado in the first, 15-12 Colorado in the second, 11-10 Colorado in the third. Final shots 39-34 for the Avs. Power plays Philadelphia 0-1, Colorado 0-2. The hits 19-16 for Colorado. Hart saves 37 out of 39. He was excellent. Prosvetov saves 29 out of 34 at the other end. So, honestly, I think the moment, I didn't put it on the board, but the moment that I thought, man, this game's intense is when Colorado got that goal from Manson. You could see Tortorella swore really loud, and he was angry. I think a lot of credit should go to John Tortorella, for the record, for the Philadelphia Flyers right now and for how well they're playing. I think he's got his team with his players, and it's showing that, he's still got it at the coaching level. All right, next up, Tampa Bay and Seattle. Seattle needed this one. They don't get it. Are there positives? Yes, but again, you need to start getting 2 points. So it's Vasilevsky versus Grubauer. Borgen has a shot deflect wide. The Kraken with the early edge in this game. Gord has a shot that's blocked. There's a near miss for Tolvanen. The shots are 3 apiece, 6 minutes into the game. Power play for Tampa. Hedman has a shot that's held. That's killed off. And then Cirelli scores from Perbix at 9:28. It's a screenshot that Cirelli deflects in. No chance for Grubauer there. Bolts press for another. We get a power play for Seattle, though. That's killed off. 2 shots for the Kraken there. Bolts have momentum. Grubauer is the reason that this game is staying at 1-0 until Kucherov scores from point at 19:16. That Nikita Kucherov's pretty good, and it's 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Second period, Tanev has a hit that draws cheers from the crowd. Bolts press at 2.5 minutes, right at around that time. McCann has a net drive that's broken up. The Kraken score, but it's an offside challenge, so yeah, it is. It's offside. It feels like early in the season we were seeing some offside challenges that weren't offside. That's not happening as much as it was. So, power play for the Kraken, that's killed off. Cirelli has a 2-on-1 chance, that's saved. Gord then had a rush chance that's gloved aside. Shots are 6-4 for Seattle at 9.5 minutes, and Bjorkstrand would score at 9:52. His 300th point in the NHL. Tolvanen and Borgen with the assist. So kudos to Bjorkstrand for that. Makes it 2-1, and he wired it high glove side on Vasilevsky. Kraken then looked to tie it, and they would. At 12:23, it's Alexiak on a one-timer from the point. Eberle with the forecheck to set it up. So he gets the assist. It's suddenly a 2-2 tie. Kraken then press for the lead. The Bolts press with 6 minutes left. We get a power play for Tampa. They cycle. There's a near miss for Paul. It's cleared out. That power play is killed off. 1:13 left. Seattle with a power play. Grubauer overextended on a save, and I think they would have blown a whistle if Tampa Bay got the puck back. He was slow to leave the ice. He would not return in the third period. In the third, as that power play continues, McCann scores at 14 seconds, so not long before that power play would have been done. Dunn and Eberle with the assists on that one. Good cycle, buried, and again, it's through a screen. So Seattle has their first lead of the game at 3-2. Tanev nearly scores the next shift. I think the roof would have come right off that building. And that roof is a heritage roof, so if you blow that roof off in Seattle, you're going to have to replace it or pay the city back. Anyways, Hedman was not on the bench. So one thing about this game for Tampa Bay is you get your points, sure, but Hedman, they're going to be hoping, isn't going to be out for very long. So Kraken press at 2.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. The shots are 4-1, Seattle 7 minutes in. At 7:09, Paul scores on what was the second shot of the period for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Cirelli and Kucherov with the assists, and it's tipped in from the net front, so not much chance for Decord on that one. Bolts then look for another. 7:36 left, though. Kraken get the power play. Near miss for Bjorkstrand. The Bolts clear. They kill that off. Both teams playing for overtime late. I thought both teams were being a little bit cautious, although Alexiak's denied in the final minute. There was a little bit of pressure for Seattle, and with 15.9 seconds left, they do get a power play. So that rolls over into the overtime. The Kraken control early. They set up. Dunn has a shot that's saved. Tampa Bay does kill off that penalty. Bjorkstrand's denied on a fast break, and then on a rush, Tampa Bay finishes it. It's Kucherov from Hagel and Radish at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So Tampa Bay wins this one 4-3 in overtime to go to 13-11-5 with the win. Kraken 8-13-7 with the overtime loss. So real problem now with the extra points in overtime. Great, but they need to start getting 2 points. Shots on net 14-4 Tampa in the first, 15-9 Seattle in the second, 7-6 Seattle in the third, and Seattle had 3 out of 4 shots in the overtime, but the one shot Tampa had, the shot that matters. Final shots 30-29 Tampa Bay. Power plays the Bolts 0 for 2. The Kraken 1 for 5. Hits 19-14 Seattle. Vasilevsky saves 26 out of 29. Grubauer saved 21 out of 23 through those first 2 periods. And then Decord in the third and in the overtime saved 5 out of 7. So Tampa Bay comes out of this with 2 points. But again, if Hedman's going to miss time, that is of a lot of concern if you're a Tampa fan. All right, next up, Carolina. Carolina's going to be so glad to be out of Western Canada. And when they've gone west, this is 2 road trips out west now where Carolina's got beat up. This is definitely video worthy, I think. So Ronta versus Demko in this one. The Canes press at 2 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Ronta. Kokanyemi has a net feed that deflects out. Kuzmenko can't bury one in close, and apparently he's on the market. We'll see what happens. Every other week there's a different Canuck that's on the market. So Lafferty ends up scoring from Pettersson and Cole at 6:17. So Lafferty, that's his 8th goal already. He's on pace for over 20 goals. Fantastic for Lafferty. We get a power play for the Canucks. That's killed off. The Canucks go back to the power play, and Carolina kills that one off as well. Shots are 11-2 for the Vancouver Canucks with 8 minutes left. Canes with a power play with 3:03 left, and then it becomes 38 seconds of 5-on-3. Natchez is denied when it's down to a 5-on-4. Aho has a shot that's held, and so some of the power play rolls over into the second period where the Canucks finish the kill. Miller draws a power play. Hughes has a shot that's saved. They cycle. Besser has a chance that's held. That power play is killed off. Too many Canucks on the ice. The Canes with a power play, and the Canucks need to get those line changes figured out. They need to get these guys communicating a little better. So that was killed off too. The shots are 5-3 for Vancouver at 6.5 minutes, and at 6:54 they score. It's Mikheyev from Pettersson and Lafferty, but that lead doesn't last. The 2-goal lead doesn't last. It becomes a 1-goal lead. At 7:23, Martinook on a 2-on-1 rush. He buries one. Fost and Slavin with the assist on that one. So it becomes a 2-1 game there. Power play for the Canes. Kokanyemi has a shot that's held. There's a shorthanded rush by Di Giuseppe that helps to finish that kill off. Shots are 6-5 for Vancouver with 8 minutes left. And at 13:45, Besser just tees it up and Miller buries it for his 40th point of the year. Besser and Höglander with the assists on that one. So at 13:45, Vancouver gets their 2-goal lead back. 2:52 left. Too many Canucks again, and that leads to a power play goal. It's Shea from Orlov and Bunting at 19:04. He gets a one-timer from in close, so he pinched in, and it worked. So the score is 3-2 after the second period in favor of Vancouver. Third period, 2 minutes and 10 seconds in, Nason buries a loose puck to tie the game. Drury and Burns with the assist, so it's tied, but it doesn't stay tied. At 3:29, so a little over a minute later, Pettersson with a just filthy wraparound. He scores from Mikheyev and Hronek. That was the first shot on net for Vancouver. It's not fair to make that the first shot. First shot should be like from the point, goalie sees it, holds it, that kind of thing. That wraparound was filthy. So that makes it 4-3 for Vancouver. Jarvis is then denied as the Canes press, and this is where if you're a Canucks fan, you're probably nervous through the rest of that third period. Garland to Joshua, there's a near miss. Chatfield has a rush chance, that's held. The shots are 8-2 for Carolina with 4.5 minutes left. Goalie pull happens with 2:15 left. 1:14 left. The Canucks with an icing, and the ref overrules it and puts the face-off at center ice, which means Carolina calls a timeout. They have to put Ronta back in the net. They were delayed taking him out. I think that was part of the reason the Canucks end up hanging on, but they do. So 4-3 win for Vancouver. They have back-to-back wins for the first time in a while. They're now 18-9-1 on the season. Carolina 14-12-1, and again, they're going to be so glad to have the West Coast in the rearview mirror. They did the California trip, did not go well. They've done the trip now through here and did not go well either. Shots on net, 13-7 Vancouver in the first, 8-7 Vancouver in the second, 10-3 Carolina in the third. Final shots are 24-24. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 5, Vancouver 0 for 3. The hits, 23-12 Vancouver. Ronta saves 20 out of 24. Demko saved 21 out of 24. So there you go. You're all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.